go ahead and start off with introductions of the team. Hi, y'all. I'm Marisha Malcolm, Programs Manager for the People's Justice Council in Alabama Interfaith Power and Light. We also have Lindsay here, Lindsay Harper. She is the National Coordinator for Arm in Arm. And we have Reverend Michael Malcolm, who you all know dearly. He is the Executive Director of the People's Justice Council in Alabama Interfaith Power and Light. And we have Sharon. She is our technical assistant, our media manager, and everything in between. She is our everything, if you will. If you want, we can go ahead and get started with this show, y'all. Put hearts in the chat, thumbs up. I hope y'all, whatever else, exclamation marks. Congratulations. Just show that y'all are happy to be here with us today. I am going to pass it on over to Rev, and he'll kick us off. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Just wanted to let everybody know that we are recording this, and our reason for recording it is because there are some that registered that won't be able to make it, but we wanted to make sure that they were able to get the recording. So here we are again. Once again, we are under attack. According to Media Justice's The People Say No Resisting Data Centers Toolkit, the U.S. has by far been the leaders of data center construction, with over 5,400 data centers, while the rest of the world combined has 1,469 data centers. These data centers are driven by a manufactured demand for artificial intelligence. Big tech is assuring that AI is attached to everything. Big technology includes the big five. That's Amazon, Apple, Google or Alphabet, Meta, and Microsoft. But it also includes in this malicious assault NVIDIA, Tesla, Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, and BATX. These corporations have invested in American politics and have created a manufactured demand that is to the detriment of our communities and planet. We've got to deal with this as the existential threat that it is. Data centers use an Olympic-sized pool of water per day. It only uses our drinking water. Let me say that again. It's using an Olympic-sized pool of water per day, and it's only using our drinking water. Most of these data centers are often located in metro areas due to access to the grid. And these grids, these upgrades that need to be made it to the grid are accompanied by rate increases that are then passed on to everyday consumers. They bring with them noise pollution and light pollution. And in other words, this is not sustainable. Regulations have been rolled back and law enforcement has been deployed to ensure that the rapid build out of these data centers happen. What has not been factored in, though, is the fact that people can think and act. The People's Justice Council has seen the discrepancy in this demand for AI. We realize that the demand has been put on us. It is not something we asked for, nor is it something that we need. In fact, if I be honest, we were doing just fine without it. Knowing where we are and what we are up against, the People's Justice Council, along with Arm in Arm, developed the Minus AI campaign. Our hypothesis for the Minus AI campaign is as follows. According to Erica Chenoweth's 3.5 rule, no government has withstood a challenge of 3.5% of their population mobilizing against it during a peak event. Therefore, we believe that if we can get 12 million people to opt out of AI when doing research, while engaging and educating at the community level, we can curb the demand for data centers. We propose to commit a year-long Minus AI campaign that will educate the public on how to opt out of using AI for data searches. We will engage and educate communities at the grassroots level in collaboration with partners through a series of town halls where we will invite city leaders and regulatory officials to participate and hear from their constituents. We must move fast because this bubble is growing fast. And when bubbles burst, our most vulnerable are the ones that suffer. So today we have asked you to come to this call to learn about our intervention for this manufactured and inflated demand. Please enjoy our presentation of our Minus AI campaign and consider partnering with us and implementing Minus AI into your campaign and resistance work. Thank you. And now I will pass it on over to Lindsay.
Thank you, Rev. Hello and good afternoon, folks. I hope people are doing well where they are. We are very appreciative of you all joining us this afternoon. This is important work, and it's exciting, of course, to have our friends, our colleagues, our supporters, our allies, and accomplices come and hear more about this fantastic campaign that we feel is very, very important. And we have gotten great feedback from many of you as well. So we got some more information for you to share. So as Rev mentioned to you, we are here to share with you the Minus AI campaign. This is against, anti-wasteful AI usage at the end of the day. This is really about four particular project goals is what we have. And I'm sorry, I hope my screen is up. Can y'all see the PowerPoint presentation? There it is. Okay, thank you. My computer's a little delayed. So four major project goals that we have that we're working on. So transforming minds, community power, corporate accountability, and systemic change. So when we're talking about transforming minds, Rev mentioned to you already that we're looking to shift the mindset of 12 million people. Again, it's a particular amount of scale, right? That also goes into this community power. In order for us to be able to in order for us to make the sound, make the noise, make the pushback that is necessary, people have to know and understand, and people have to understand that they can make a change, and we have to do it at scale. What's also about corporate accountability, you know, these corporations have way too much power, and they are having all these backroom deals. You got people in power signing NDA deals, so they don't have to share information. And we want to hold these corporations accountable. They don't need to have the impact on government elected officials as they do. And their projections are really based on what? Right? These projections are out into the future, but the actual demand doesn't actually exist. So what we need to not do is to play into this demand, quote unquote, that they have, you know, built so many, unfortunately, policies on. I'm sure many of you all have had meetings and policies happening where you live around data centers. I'm in Georgia, we've got them too. It's also about systemic change. As I mentioned, we have to combine the grassroots action with the corporate engagement to spark lasting reform. And that's policy change. That's ultimately where we're going. So the people have to opt in to AI versus being forced to opt out. So this is why we feel that you should rethink how, when I say you, us as consumers should rethink how we use AI, okay? It's massive, massive energy consumption. In 2020, data centers accounted for about 1% of global energy use. And again, if the majority of those data centers are happening in the US, again, the US has this undue burden on the global community that we don't need to have, right? And of course, based on the projections, it's supposed to dramatically rise over the coming years. We've also got devastating resource depletion. Data centers and cooling systems consume so much water, and we already know that water is our most valuable resource right now, and we don't have enough clean water for people to be drinking, right? Let alone these machines. In the US, data centers have used over 626 billion liters of water. Again, that's away from people and that's away from food, which would seem very clear cut to me. Environmental pollution, okay? The server upgrade grades, e-waste, right? E-waste is already out of control. You got circuits and wires and plugins and USBs. chemicals come with that. All that stuff goes into the water, can go into the waterway, can go into the water, and it threatens our ecosystems, it threatens our public health, and impacts our watersheds as well. And then we also have economic burden on families. So the cost of powering data centers falls on consumers. I'm a Georgia Power customer. Georgia Power right now is finding that it has also large projections as well. And, because of how many of our energy companies are built and set up, it's the shareholders that are getting most of the value, right, out of the company, and is the ratepayers who are the ones paying the additional costs that increase shareholder profit, right? So this is just another avenue for data centers to increase shareholder revenues. And so again, the increased demand for energy raises utility rates for people who are already under undue energy burden, and impacts budgets and economic stability, honestly, for multiple generations. This isn't just like over the next 5-10 years. This is, again, additional, exponentially layered economic impact going forward in multiple generations. So, I'll also offer you this. Again, who's paying for it, right? Who's really paying for it right now, which are these fossil fuel powered data centers? Tech companies profit from AI expansion, communities bear the costs, and this is about economic justice, y'all. So there's a hidden tax on working families. As I mentioned, energy companies pass the infrastructure costs down to ratepayers. Bills go up. We're essentially subsidizing the tech industry's build out, and we're doing it through our bills, right? And then we also talking about environmental justice implications as well. Data centers are, of course, based in low-income neighborhoods. They anticipate that they'll have the least amount of pushback, right, from communities that have historically been, not as civically engaged for multiple different reasons. It's not just apathy, y'all, right? But particular areas are chosen on purpose. The profits are privatized, and environmental damage and costs are socialized. It's environmental racism. They're choosing certain neighborhoods on purpose, and this is just another piece of infrastructure that's going to go in Black and brown and low wealth communities. Just is going to compound the issues that are already there. It's a system, it's an ideology, and there's just more of the same. I'm going to pass it to Marisha, who's going to close us out.
Thank you, Lindsay. Sharon, you can go to the next slide. Thank you. So this is a 12-month campaign, and here's a little bit of our timeline. So for the first 6 months, we'll be focusing on online public education for digital usage, for consumer behavior change to reduce unnecessary AI usage, to influence public reform where search engines and digital platforms make AI opt in. It's an optional thing. Rather, we are forced to use AI. As you all seen when we came in, they automatically, here we're transcribing your meeting for you. We weren't able to opt in or opt out of that. Rather than automatically, which reduces energy demand from data centers. Throughout this entire campaign, we will be fundraising, and I'll give you a little bit more information about that. We are asking you and your networks to make a recurring donation of $12 per month to get 12 million people to disengage from using AI in the next 12 months. We want this to be a global effort. This is a grassroots effort that will involve organizing at the community level. We need your support to make this happen, y'all. And last but not least, the last 6 months of this campaign, we'll be doing a lot of community facing actions and action-oriented steps. This will include town halls, silent protest actions, social media engagement, and of course, tracking. You can go to the next slide, please, Sharon. So what are we doing? We are organizing communities. This is where we're asking you all to join in and collaborate with us to do door-to-door campaigning, hosting town halls, community meetings, and educating residents about the environmental and economic cost of these facilities, as well as sharing our -AI content, as well as making content to share out as well. Next, we're doing policy advocacy. We're working to introduce legislation that protects communities from harmful data centers and the usage of our natural resources. And we're also holding corporate accountable for what's going on. We're confronting and collaborating with companies through shareholder actions, public pressure campaigns, and strategic partnerships with socially responsible businesses that understand the importance of ethical AI development. So we are looking to partner with Google and partner with Microsoft, because we're noticing through some of the research that we're doing, they're also losing out on a lot of money due to the AI research that just automatically pops up because it's an ad or whatnot. So they're losing out on money. So we're seeing how we can partner with them to promote this Minus AI campaign. Sharon, next slide, please. So here's how you can use the AI web search. Sharon, you could just click that Minus AI's logo. You can click the logo. Yeah, there you go.
How do you minus AI? Well, in most popular search engines, here I'm using the web browser Google Chrome and using our default Google search engine. If you type, what is a good web browser, for example, you will get an AI overview on the page. And this is what's driving hyperscale data centers. Bad news. But if you simply add a space and type minus AI, as in minus artificial intelligence, notice the summaries, the AI, the automatic AI, has gone away.
Thanks, Sharon. You can go on back. Thank you. So it's that simple in how to use the Minus AI
The last
feature.
with Lawrence O'Donnell starts right now. Hey, Lawrence.
Hey, Jen, I have to make sure I have everything I need on this desk because
You may have
in the
to.
last, I don't know, let's see, 45 seconds.
Yeah, thank you. And this is pretty much the end, y'all. If y'all want more information, you can go to our website. We have a lot more information on there. You can see a more overview of different slides that are done by Kyle Kreider. You can also email us any questions. And tomorrow, or sorry, not tomorrow, but on the 11th, on Saturday, we'll be launching our Minus AI campaign. So you can tune in to the People's Justice Council or Arm in Arm and for more information. I'll pass it back to you, Reverend.
All right, thank you. So now's the time that we get to talk to each other. We've laid out to you what our campaign looks like. We would love to hear back from you about what you've heard. I know that there was one question about the potential of working with Google or Yahoo or any of the other big techs concerning Minus AI. One of the things that we're hearing, we don't know if it's true or not, but one of the things that we're hearing is that big tech doesn't necessarily like the fact that AI is attached to everything either. And so having conversations with big tech to find out where their head is, it would help us and help in achieving the direction that we want to go in. So it's not necessarily a thing of us working with them per se. If they're evil and they're doing evil, we definitely don't want to partake in that. But finding out where they could be beneficial if possible, or even if just finding out the position of our enemy in this thing. But having those conversations would help us rather than us automatically writing them off when we don't know their position at all, especially when we're hearing conflicting reports about their participation or how they feel about AI being attached to everything. Check. So what we want to do is open it up for everybody that was listening, that heard this campaign. One, we want to know about what you've heard, how you feel about what you've heard. But then secondly, we want to know if you and your organization would be willing to partner with us in this Minus AI campaign. Can you see it useful for your organization's campaign, organizing, or beneficial in leading for a campaign against AI? Now step back now and just open it up for whomever. If you would just put your hand in the air so we can raise your hand so that we can be able to recognize you. Check.
Michelle, I seen your hand first. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying that we can support and we'll follow up with y'all. And great job.
And Michelle, I would love to know where you're from and who you're saying that through.
So my name is Michelle Wright. I use she, her pronouns. I'm coming to you from Northern California, but I work at the Climate Justice Alliance, which is a national advocacy alliance. So
Thank you so much, Michelle. Um, Anybody else? We would love to hear from you. If you have questions, concerns, or even thoughts, if this seems good for you, we would love to hear from you. All right, so I see Mustafa has his hand up, and then Miss Wanda.
Yeah, Rev, I apologize for being late. I was tied up with another event. I'm just curious. I know you're going to be launching this campaign. Um, what attempts have already been made to reach out to Microsoft and that whole slew of the tech companies, and just to give a perspective of what conversations may or may not have happened, and what the timing looks like.
Yeah, Mustafa, we hadn't had the conversations yet. Our only thing that we have done was the research around it. What we wanted to do was get this campaign together before we approach any of those companies, just so we'd have our ducks in a row prior to. Now that we have them in a row, and after the 11th, then we'll be able to approach these companies. As far as time frame is concerned, my goal is to start trying to have those conversations sometime in December when I'm back from international travel. Check.
Okay. If I could just add one other real quick point.
Absolutely.
At Climate Week, there was a big conversation with a number of the big, AI companies, along with some professors who operate in this space. So there may be some information that came out of that may be beneficial to community. So Michael Glopter over at Yale helped to pull some of that together with a few other folks. So whether it is their PowerPoints, what they shared, or the questions that were asked, it may help to inform.
Thank you. Can you pass me that information, big brother?
Yeah, I'll
When you
text it.
get,
I'll text it to you.
I appreciate it. Wanda?
Hey
And
everybody.
then Brandon.
Yeah, Rev. So I was just thinking a comment and then a question. The comment, or I guess a request. Do you have a graphic that we can share, um, amongst our networks that gives just a quick, easy, this is because it's literally just type in whatever you're searching minus AI, and then the benefits or the why that people should be doing this? Because I would love to get that shared on, my social platforms. So do y'all have something like that yet?
Yes, we do. And
Okay.
we can drop the toolkit one, but also with our follow-up, we'll make sure that we send those links out as well.
Okay, yeah, I would love to have that graphic. And then secondly, I definitely would like for you to dig in more about partnering with the big tech companies, because I mean, look, I'm knee deep, shoulder deep, eyeball deep in this fight against the data centers. And so, you know, sorry, I'm outside. In that work, we're always talking about the proliferation of data centers being the result of big tech needing to control AI. But if you're saying to me, they are also losing money with the AI, hijacking the search engines on my different browsers, I think I'm kind of curious about that. And I think the reason I want to know more about that is it's going to be difficult. Well, not difficult, but I just want to be able to understand why the partnership with the ones who are the reason for all the data centers.
Okay, so let me address that. So the partnership or the conversations is what I would like to have. I can't necessarily say that we can partner because I don't know their exact position. This is something that occurred in our research, something that we read or heard in our research, and that's why it came to be. But what has been said is the advertising dollars that come from when you put your various searches in, when it comes up, they get advertising dollars from the various companies that whose links you'll click on. Well, with the AI summary, people are taking that and not necessarily going and clicking any links to do any further research. And so as a result, they're losing money that way. How much of a difference it'll cause, not necessarily sure. Not necessarily sure, but this is an avenue that we could, just as you're curious, I'm curious as well. I don't know what it'll turn out, though, to be honest with you on that. I hope that satisfied you, your answer, or your question.
Well, it sounds like there's a part 2 coming, a TBD. So I'll wait on the strength of our
Yes.
friendship. Yes, and I'm being my brother in the movement. I will stand by for that. Yes.
Yes, there's definitely a part 2 that will need to come with that. Again, that's not something that's guaranteed. It's just something that's a conversation worth having and an avenue worth exploring. But it's not necessarily anything that we can put any foundational steps on to say we've got these people one way or the other.
Okay, before we jump to the next hands, I want to read this question that's in the chat from Arjun. I hope I'm saying your name right. So sorry. Energy costs are soaring across the country, as you point out. Much of that is because existing energy sources can't meet the demand required by these new AI data centers. Do you think rising energy costs, which every American family has to shoulder, is one of the key opportunities for community organizing on this issue? Also, shouldn't we be advocating for the data centers and tech companies to shoulder costs? To shoulder this cost, given that they're responsible for the surging demand in energy.
Absolutely. And I've got Naira that's on the call, and perhaps Naira can speak more to these some of the cities having upfront costs or making the data centers pay upfront costs um, to help to as a way of fighting against that. The first part of your question with the energy cost, I absolutely think that's the place. But between the energy cost, our bills going up, and your water drying up, I think both of those are common places that people will really understand and can get on board with. When it comes down to water, excuse me, we can't recreate water, and if 80% of the water that's going through that data center is going away, and 20% is hardly recoverable, that means that we're actually losing our drinking water at alarming rates for our communities. I think that's something that we can talk about. In Georgia, they've experienced their rate increase for their utilities, I want to say 6 times, I think, and it's looking to double. So that's something else that you can put forward. Listen, at the end of the day, when you look at the fact that our utility bills are going up astronomically to support something that we didn't ask for, that's an injustice that I feel like all of us can get behind. And if we don't find relief for this, there are people that are wind up spending all their money on their utility bills and won't necessarily have anything to eat or for upkeep. or some of them very well may even have to file bankruptcy because they're trying to keep their lights on. I'm trying to. This is a public webinar or whatever, and so I'm gonna keep the cussing down. But y'all know I want to. I see Brandon's hand, and then Naira.
Yeah, I'll be brief. I don't have a question. I just want to say how much I appreciate the way you all are thinking about this. Because there are some like national groups that are thinking about transparency or safeguards or things like that. But the truth is we're not really ripe for federal play right now. And even what we're seeing, like California's AI law, like it's good that states are thinking about it. But what I think is really powerful about this is it is really thinking about not a top-down strategy, but how can we create organizing opportunities? How can we bring people in at the community level? And so I think there's a lot of potential to really have these deep conversations. And I like what someone said in the chat too, similarly, just about how, it's a really great entry point. And so I think this is great. I don't think that there could possibly be like a kind of top-down campaign that could accomplish what can be accomplished with this. And so I'm really excited to be here and to be a part of it.
Thank you, Brandon. I want to recognize Naira.
Yeah, first of all, I want to give a lot of gratitude to you, Rev, and the team over there for launching this campaign. One, like this also works with search when you're doing it on your phone. So I tested it. So it works for, browsers like on your laptop and on your phone. And this was like, I guess, kind of coming back, not really a question, but, some comments and like an offering. So the offering first and kind of extrapolating what you were talking about, Rev, is like, like content creators would be an amazing adding in because I would say the creative space, like we've been fighting against AI for a minute. Like creatives have been fighting against AI for a minute. Like the people who are, selling patterns and just other stuff, like AI has already entrenched itself into that space. And like one of the issues, like I would say amongst creatives, especially like people like I got online businesses or, like blogs and all this other stuff, is like with AI, it's scrapping the information and it's like forcing like this paradigm that's kind of existed really since the rise of Google and the search engine, from like you would search something and then you would click on somebody's website and then you would spend that time in somebody's website. But it's shifting that paradigm under AI because you're just like in the AI. So you're never, moving on to someone's website, and then those affiliate links that you would see from ads, like those content creators never receive that because they're all in the AI, And so like I'm definitely going to reach out to the creators in my life and the influencers and those folks to try to get them to also sign on board, and like other people within like social networks. You already knowing somebody is doing like some type of side hustle like I do. But then like also like there is I want to say Cloudflare, which is a hosting service, a website hosting service. I know that they recently, and I found out about this, Hard Fork, which is a New York Times podcast. It's basically a tech podcast, but they have like these long form interviews with folks, and they've been doing like AI episodes probably since the spring at least. But Cloudflare, they basically are banning like AI scrappers because they're banning that like on their servers. And so I think that, there are a bunch of pockets of folks, like not only like in the EJ space, but like in other spaces. And we just gotta cobble this together so it can permeate like all of our spaces to like collectively say like, we don't want this. And I think like people don't want this, but, I think like a lot of the tech, they're kind of like, they want to like the FOMO, and they're actually like expanding, and you know what's happening in Michigan, what's happening across the country, is like all these states are like revamping like their integrated resource plans. Like we're doing it right here in Michigan because they're just like the forecasts are off for the data generation the energy generation needed for these data centers. And so like this is going and it's like quickening like at a pace that I'm just like it's hard to even keep up with. It's like dizzying. Yeah, I'll put the link of the hard fork and especially the one about the with the Cloudflare server dude, the CEO of that service. All right, check.
So partnering with us doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have a bunch of meetings and there's going to be a bunch of working groups formed and all of this stuff. Partnering with us looks like you spreading this word. It looks like you showing others how to use Minus AI, but also getting them to show evidence by doing screenshots, by recording themselves doing a video. I showed a couple of people, including Lindsay, how to use Minus AI and the thought or the expression that came from it. Like, oh, and it was joy actually showing that they don't have to participate in using AI. If we can capture those, we can really make this thing again. I don't know another word that appeals to this moment other than sexy. We want to make this sexy. We really want people to get on board, and this becomes a festive thing that we aren't participating. This is our form of resistance to show corporations that they will not own us. They won't own our resources, they won't own our land, and they won't own our communities. And so by clicking the link that we've shared a few times, and we'll share again, the partnership link, if you all would sign up, whether you be an organization or an individual, if you would just sign up to the partnership to partner with us so you can help get this word out. We would love, love, love to be able to stay in touch. Love, love, love to see the evidence that you'll bring so that we can take this and we can leverage it. As somebody said, we need a strong sample size so that we can be able to leverage this and show this. So instead of them forcing us to opt out and then hiding the options for us to opt out of using AI, they'll make AI something that we have to opt into. Now, if those desire to opt into it and continue to use it, that's on them. However, we've done our part in making it an option versus it not being an option right now. And so that's what we want to do. We believe, again, that will help curb the demand, but it also gives us leverage to be able to go in and fight. Right now, if we just go in with our feelings and we can't show evidence, all we're doing is screaming. I want to be able to show evidence that we aren't using this because it was never necessary, and we don't appreciate you giving us something that we didn't ask for. All right. I want to make sure that I recognize anybody else that has questions. Do we have any other questions in the chat? Any other comments that we need to highlight, team? And feel free to raise your hand if you want to speak audibly. We've got enough time. I'm gonna shut it down here in about 2 more minutes, but we've got enough time right now. All right. Hey, listen, I'm going to do one more thing, y'all, before I step back and let somebody else take over. By show of heart emojis, how many of you all would be willing to be with us and partner with us on Minus AI? Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All the love, all the love. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And feel free to reach out to me or someone in the team if you see holes or you see gaps, anything that will help shape this out, any opportunities that'll help shape this out. We've dropped our AI one pager in so that you can take a look at that. We'll make sure we send you the toolkit. And this movement or this campaign, y'all, has to be funded. You may ask, what are we going to do with the money? Here's a few things that we'll do with that money. We want to make sure that we have a strong social media presence. This is something that's happening virtually. We want to make sure we meet it virtually. But in order for us to do that, we need a media team that'll be able to do this for us and help us to promote this worldwide. Second thing we want to do, we really want to get in at the grassroots level and have community conversations in real time, in person, with our city council, with our regulatory officials, such as our Public Service Commission, having them speaking directly with community so that they can know the decision, what the decisions that they make do for their communities or how it affects their communities. Because one of the things that I realized when I was attending the Bessemer meeting, Bessemer has Project Marvel, which is a data center that's coming in Bessemer. And when we went to the city council meeting, to give testimony, there were a lot of people that gave testimony, but there were not a lot of people from the community that gave testimony. And although the president of the city council said that she heard us and that they recognized us, it would have been something whole different had they recognized and heard from people that they directly deal with on a day-to-day basis because they live in their communities. So if we can have our communities educated and have them fighting on our side and educating these city councils and these public service commissions, we may be able to see something different when it comes down to our planning and zoning. All right, that's where I am. Thank you all for your for being with us. Thank you for your time. I will now. Oh, it was on me to do next steps in the close. So sorry, I'm thrown off. Sorry about that, Lindsay. So our next steps again, y'all. We'll send this out. We'll send out the recording so you'll be able to see this again. We'll also send out the various literature so you'll be able to take a hold of that and utilize that. If you would, click that link to register to be a partner so that we can follow up with you. And please share the donation button. We're only asking that people would give $12 per month. $12 per month recurring. We're not asking for anything more than that, just $12 per month. That's not normally an issue. I don't even think you can get a Whopper for $12 a month now. $12. I don't think. I don't eat them because I got a gluten allergy. But I don't think you can get one for $12. So you can get more of your life for less than you would buying a Whopper meal. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Hey, listen, as always, we offer to you love, peace, and light. Please, please, please feel free to get in touch with us. Thank you all for your time. Thank you, thank you, thank you.